So where in history, in this span of 20-some years, did we as a nation go wrong?
Because you have to maintain the integrity of love yourself.
Most reasonable people actually know better.
We've gone so far that there are educators that can, dietitians and fitness experts that can no longer teach certain curriculum because it was offensive to somebody who was fat. Well, if you're fat and you don't want to be fat, or even if you do, like it's not healthy.
It's not just on the person delivering the message. If there's multiple people delivering the message to you, whether it's you, me, the viewer, you have to be able to be flexible and recognize that they're trying to help you, not hurt you.
Yeah, audio's good.
All right.
My gain might be a little high, but we'll deal with it in post. Welcome to Unfiltered Candor. How do we know if anybody's watching?
It'll pop up. Nobody's watching.
Oh, boy. Test.
I think we're good.
Test.
Are you ready?
Yeah, man, I'm just getting like these crazy red audio bars, but then we listen to audio and I'm like...
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Candored. Unfiltered Candored.
Is it like past tense?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Candor. I'm Brian.
And I'm Park.
And today we're going to be talking about the health epidemic of fat.
Yeah. I'm glad you kind of said it that way because it's... I think it's compared to an illness, and in some cases maybe it is, but I think there's a lot of folks out there that are kind of riding the wave, so to speak, on poor choices and then blaming it on maybe an illness. And I think we should say, like, right off the bat, we're not here to shame anything, right? We're here to highlight an issue that has increased our mortality rate as Americans due to the decisions we make and succumbing to marketing or whatever the case is, and it's just not okay, right? And you can't hide behind fat shaming to remain unhealthy.
Yeah, there comes there's a line drawn when it teeters on self-love and almost self-inflicted destruction or
self-destruction
on your health. So to start off the show, we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to watch a video, and the viewers or listeners, you'll be able to listen to it, but we're both going to watch this little video to kind of help us segue into the actual discussion for today. Ready?
You playing it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you drink water during the day? No water at all? Okay. All right. And then what are you drinking during the day?
There's people on live.
Sodies.
Sody pops.
Okay. And how much do you think you drink a day?
A sody.
8 to
Have you ever
12
heard
a
it called a
day.
sody?
So, I mean,
8
that's...
to 12 cans?
No, I have not.
Okay. And it's regular soda?
No, it's Dad.
It's diet soda.
Okay.
Our
Diet
mom
soda's
told us
better.
when we were younger.
I mean, I drink
Yeah,
diet
the
soda.
sugar.
I eat a strict
You drink
ketogenic
your
diet.
Diet Coke afterwards, and it
I drink diet
cancel out
soda.
the sugars.
Not
Okay.
8 to 12 a day, but...
Do you believe it to be true? No.
I did when I was a kid.
Sure. Okay. No one should be drinking 8 to 10 sodas a day.
All right. I think that's good.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I think there's folks on the live that weren't able to see that video that we'll end up putting in post.
yeah.
Basically, there's a show called 1,000 Pound Sisters, and these sisters believe that for every shit food that you eat, you drink a diet soda and it cancels it out.
Yeah, and this was prompted by Park and I had a discussion earlier where I said most reasonable people actually know better. And just like in Park fashion, he had to prove me wrong. So he pulls up this video clip, and he was right.
She didn't know better. Now, I don't want people, this is definitely not the norm. This is not an average, a person of average intelligence. However, there are folks out there that just don't get it, right? And that's an education problem. That's easy. And those people typically, when you educate them, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know that. Now I need to get better. It's the people that do know, that do it anyways, and then hide behind some sort of fake diagnosis or some sort of self-inflicted, I can't help it, I'm a victim ideology.
Yeah, and so when did this start happening? Like, I vividly remember, we'll say the 80s, right? 80s and 90s.
Tab. Remember Tab?
Yeah.
First diet soda?
The big person was actually rare where I grew up. I grew up in Washington State, and
Everybody walks. Right?
sure,
There's
there's a lot of fitness, health, but being big, okay, it was actually kind of rare in public. I didn't see an abundance of, we'll say morbid obese people. 40% BMI is a definition of
morbidly
yeah,
obese.
yeah, it's a morbidity or something like that. So 30% is obese, morbid obesity is 40, something. Yeah,
Fair enough.
anyways, they were far and few. And that's it. Now it's an everyday occurrence. So where in history, in this span of 20 some years, did we as a nation go wrong?
I don't know that I have an answer to that. Only because, or if I would have to do some research. The statistics are probably there. I don't remember also seeing people in the 80s that were morbidly obese, but I also wasn't looking for it.
Right.
It didn't matter to me then. I was young. Full disclosure, my sophomore year in high school, I was 5'7", 260 pounds. And it was not a solid 260. But it was because I was making bad decisions.
Shame on you.
But I didn't know,
Fair
right?
enough.
I didn't I wasn't eating shit food. I wasn't eating like tons of candy but I was just eating a lot of food, that I thought was healthy. And at the time, I didn't have a whole lot of adult supervision, and I was. All of us were in the 80s, right? Like latchkey kids, and it was safe to drink from the garden hose and ride in the back window of Dad's Buick or Granddad's Buick. So I don't know where we went wrong. I do know that there is a piece of we did a show on sensitivity. And I think that was kind of a catalyst to start building upon. And then that snowball just kept rolling downhill where everybody was oversensitive. So we had to start dialing back our communication and education to the point where it was a moot subject.
Right. And kind of to piggyback on what Parker said earlier, I really don't care if you're fat, obese, morbid obese, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. But one thing I can say for sure is it's not healthy for you. And it also puts a strain on the taxpayers at the end of the day, right?
Well,
not a strain, but it's coming out of taxpayers' wallet.
Well, we talk about etiquette. There are certain things that are just you're not capable of doing when you are oversized, right? And I think to progress towards fat acceptance is a terrible thing, right? As we move toward whether it's sensitivity or whether it's accept everybody. I'm not saying don't accept people. I'm saying don't accept fat as something that is just okay.
Right, and it goes back into self-love versus self-destruction, right?
Yes.
There's that line. So, okay, Brian, Park, what do you do with this, right? You're saying it's bad to be fat?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's bad to be fat. However, there's different. I guess we can categorize this in two different, I guess, bins.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to piggyback on. It's not. We're not saying don't love yourself.
Yeah,
Absolutely love yourself, but don't make that an excuse to just accept your unhealthy decisions and behaviors. Love yourself, but also love yourself to the point where you want to live a full, healthy, long life.
Right.
Right. An enjoyable life. I mean, there's nothing enjoyable about having to buy 2 plane tickets to go see your family. Like that's, I just don't. If you love yourself like that, great, good for you. It's not healthy and it's selfish.
all right. So I might say something here where people might get a little bit offended or a little bit sensitive. Why do you think we started pushing into this realm of fat acceptance or the extremism of fat or of self-love in one form or another? And my answer to that is we started letting go of shame. It was bad to have shame.
Oh.
Or it was bad to make another person think about having some shame, right? So now, don't misconstrue this with...
Well, shame is healthy.
Yeah, we're not trying to fat shame or we're not trying to shame anybody out there. But a little bit of shame, like you said, is healthy, right?
It's more of a shame on lack of education. Like if you truly believe that everything is okay and you're living that 1,000-pound life, or that's an extreme, obviously. But as obesity is big in America, right? No pun intended.
I think it was crazy. We'll pull it up, but it's a pretty huge percentage of Americans are actually obese now. And that in my book would be an epidemic, or it's a health crisis.
Definitely a health crisis. Yeah. But I don't know, medically or politically, I'm not sure how that would be categorized. I just know that.
So,
my opinion.
Yeah, Google says United States has officially passed 42% national obesity rate. That's it. So 42% of Americans are categorized as being obese.
And you think that explosion of overweight, of an overweight population, is due to the fact that we have removed or made shame a bad thing?
Part of it. And shame, sensitivity, hypersensitivity, multiple movements going forth. And like I said, none of these are bad. It's just this is an actual end result of multiple things happening at the same time, like the perfect storm. We're not even talking about how food has physically changed in the last 20 years.
Oh, that's a good point.
On a molecular and chemical level.
Just processing, just sheer processing.
Right. Bread's not even bread. Like the bread you ate when you were a child is physically different than what it is now. And that's why even in Europe, they have laws against bread, like maintaining the actual integrity
of the DNA in the wheat.
Yeah, so they know that eating what we eat, processed, white processed high enriched flour and all that craziness,
bleached and
it's bad. It's bad. Not saying we should replicate a European model. However, it seems like when it comes to health, the Europeans are a little bit more ahead of us, or they're a little bit more progressive in many aspects. And when it comes to food,
let me ask you something. So to kind of put it in perspective, if somebody told you it was healthy to not shower, to not bathe, would you?
No, because that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's a point in history where they actually felt, I think it was the French, believed it was unhealthy to bathe. And I may be twisting my historical marks because I know that...
So my point here is, if somebody tells you that it's okay to be fat and to love yourself, But if that same person said it's okay to be dirty and stinky and unhealthy and love yourself, there's some very similar like analogies to draw from that. I think in the ridiculousness of you don't have to shower it seems more prevalent than the ridiculousness in it's okay to be fat.
Yeah, but the problem is Americans, and I say America because this is an American issue.
Yeah, I spent time in Europe, and it's a completely different.
Yeah, we put a lot of stock in the way we look, right?
You think that's an American thing? I mean, Fashion Week is in Paris, for Christ's sake.
But there's a lot of fat celebrities out there. And we are the country that worships celebrities and all these false idols.
Well, that's another discussion.
I mean, like I said, we can't we can't solve the issue, nor are we going to with this is the root cause. We're just trying to bring awareness and a little bit of influence to maybe the decisions that some of you, including myself, are not in the best interest of self-preservation or health.
So what do we do about it? Like, do we try and bring back a degree of fat shaming? And by that I mean we've gone so far that there are educators that can no longer, or dietitians and fitness experts that can no longer teach certain curriculum because it was offensive to somebody who was fat. Well, if you're fat and you don't want to be fat, or even if you do, like it's not healthy, and that's a fact, right? I don't know why academia can't continue to. I mean, academia teaches some pretty heinous shit, right? And I'm not saying it's false. I'm saying it's skewed or slanted to the degree where it can be offensive also. So it's not like we're not teaching offensive content. So in our schools, why can't we teach that fat is unhealthy?
I mean, they do 30%.
What do you mean? No, you're just saying that's the percentage of BMI.
Yeah, but
I'm saying why can't we have a health class that says if you are in this category in this class, you are fat and unhealthy, and here's what you do to fix it.
Oh, just so you're actually giving it a hard label, like this is bad, and then teach that.
Yeah, like if we say 30% is obese and 40% is morbidly obese, then we teach the health ramifications of that. Like if you remain this way for 10 years, this is what's going to happen to you.
No, that's offensive. It offends me.
Well, I don't give a shit. I mean, why is somebody's health in quality of life more important or less important than how they feel, like how somebody feels? Like if I don't know, man. Like I have a real hard time with understanding where that cost benefit analysis is, because
okay, wait. So who's to gain off of not teaching this?
Fat people.
Okay. And by virtue of being in that percentile of the 30 to 40% plus, it's not good for you in the long run. You are literally killing yourself, shortening your life.
Sure.
Okay, so we can all agree. We can even say most rational people could agree this is bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
so how do we reprogram? How do we reframe it?
I don't know. Because you have to maintain the integrity of love yourself, right? It's like when I'm teaching my kids something, man, it's a hard, we talk about goals. It's a hard line to walk when you want to teach somebody that you care about, that you love more than anything, that you need to be happy with what you've got. Just be happy with what you got.
Right.
But then in the next breath, you're like, go for your dreams. So the kids are like, what do you, like, I need to be happy with what I have, but I also need to strive for something more. Like they're very antagonistic.
True, but let's go back to the example of what if you went on a 2-week bender, and I saw you like 2 weeks later, and you're just rough,
Just wrecked.
and you're continuing to do. You have intentions of continuing to do this, and I
You're
say
talking drugs and alcohol.
sure, whatever, drugs, alcohol, whatever your vice is, yeah. And I say, hey, Parker, you need to stop what you're doing, man. You're going to kill yourself. What is your first response going to be? Are you going to say, how dare you shame me? You drug shame me? You alcohol shame me? Are you going to say that right off the bat? No, you're going to say, yeah.
Because it's accepted as poor behavior.
Yeah. The same thing as smoking. I smoked a long time ago, and people are like, you need to stop smoking. And I didn't get mad like, oh, how dare you smoke shame me? I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it. I agree.
But somebody going to tell you to put that hamburger down. It's offensive.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to focus our energy, is understanding that if somebody says, if somebody has the intention, a true intention, not a malicious intention, to help you understand where you are in life, nutritionally or with fitness or whatever, we have to be open to that and not be offended because somebody is trying to help us. I think I don't know how we educate that. That's cultural.
It's upbringing too. Teaching your kids, to
accept criticism? Is that part of is that, because that's what it is. It's criticism.
Yeah,
it's
but I thought
stop eating like shit.
Hypersensitive people are open. They're progressive, right?
They're not open. That's right. Like, I know that was your sarcastic thought.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm never sarcastic.
yeah. So where does that begin? That number one, it's not okay. Number two, you have to be willing to hear that it's not okay, because if you knew, you probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like if you had somebody that cared about you, that wanted to help you.
Yeah.
And you can still love yourself. What about somebody who says, "Hey, you got to eat a sandwich"? Like the other side of it, right? We're not talking about like eating disorders, because that's a serious topic. That's a serious
I like how you say eating disorder is a serious topic, but obesity is not a serious topic. I know you're not saying that, but that's how I took that.
Yeah,
they're all
I don't know if well, I think it is, right? Because it's. Man, this is tough.
Yeah, so I think there's a direct correlation with eating disorders and mental illness.
Yes, and I wasn't sure if we wanted to go there.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think there's mental illness also associated with certain people who are obese as well, too. So it's not to say one is a direct cause of the other. It's just to say there is we're not professionals, but it just seems that eating disorders have a higher percentage of mental illness, whereas obesity may not actually start in a mental psychosis of one form or another.
I think we are professionals, but we're not medical providers.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I don't know the list of eating disorders that are out there. Is just like overeating, or having, there's got like having a poor relationship with food. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's an eating disorder that leads to obesity. And then there's, as I sit here and talk with you about it, when I was fat and I was in, my dad helped me, sort of shift the tide on that. And when people would tell me, put that down, or you don't need that, whatever the food was, it was shameful because it was an attack on me in my decision making, right? And I think maybe part of the focus is to reframe that as, it's not your fault that you're obese. Mm-hmm. It is your fault, but it could be due to decisions that you were incapable of making, whether it's a mental illness or a lack of education or willpower or whatever it is. All of those things can be dealt with very effectively, especially now.
So
We just need to have the empathy to do it correctly.
right, and so that's what I was going to kind of lead us into. How do we solve this for the sake of the podcast?
Yeah.
Delivery, right? If you're giving the advice, delivery it matters.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, delivery matters, especially in this age of hypersensitivity, right?
Oh, man.
Delivery matters, especially if it's a friend or family member. But then two, it's not just on the person delivering the message. If there's multiple people delivering the message to you, whether it's you, me, the viewer, you have to be able to be flexible and recognize that they're trying to help you, not hurt you, right?
Even though in the moment
Yeah.
it stings.
It stings, right? Like, I know I'm heavier than usual, and if Parker said, bro, you're getting a little bit husky,
Yeah.
because husky's okay to say, but I know what he means, it would sting like, bro, man, that sucks. But I wouldn't get mad. I'd be like, I need to get on the bike a little bit more. So delivery and a little bit of flexibility. And then two, once you're that person who's gotten this information, what are you going to do about
Do
it?
something about it.
Yeah, what do you
And you got to understand that just by changing, if you go from unhealthy to healthy, you can still love yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's saying that you need to get skinny for the sake of appearances, and this is what everybody thinks beautiful is. Like,
Right.
You're beautiful no matter what, but you can be beautiful and healthy and love yourself. That's a fact, right?
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe that. So I think there's a lot of this or that goes on in that decision-making process when somebody who is overweight or obese, who loves themselves, I applaud you, but please get healthy.
Yeah. We're not going to solve this issue in one podcast. We're more than willing to address this again, whether it's through comments or people ripping or hating on us.
Nah.
We're flexible, and we're willing to what's the word I'm looking for, to humor the discussion, continue it, right?
We want the discussion.
Yeah, we want the discussion.
Absolutely.
So, but we're not going to solve it here in a 20 to 30 minute podcast. So, but it is it's a point that I'm passionate about for other reasons, and then I know Parker as well. But it's something I think we all need to hear, right? If you have a family or friend that you feel is teetering on there,
And odds are you do.
Yeah.
42% of the population
Yeah.
in America is.
you know, and if you are that person, it does sting, but fix it, man.
Yeah, you just got to be like, if the truth hurts, then change your truth.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think there's a right way to go about doing this, and there's a right way to go about delivering it, and there's a right way to go about accepting it, and understanding that getting healthy is important to everybody. Just understand. Yeah, be understanding on both sides.
So we want to thank our 12 viewers and the person who was watching.
We have 12 we have way more people watching, but only 12 subscribed.
Yeah. I think in time, we're going to keep putting out this stuff, whether you watch or not. It's something we like to do, but we're only going to get better with,
Your help.
constructive criticism. And even if it's just negative, we'll take that and we'll go with it as well. So, but thanks.
We want to improve. Like, I think that's important that everybody knows that we want to get better at this.
So, I guess take us out.
Oh, you do the like, subscribe, comment, right? Like, I usually bring us. You do it. You do it. I'm terrible.
So to everybody, we're on all the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Like, share, subscribe, and of course, share it with your friends. And until next time, keep it
Unfiltered.
Thanks.